Hello everyone, and welcome to another Baxter Student Ambassador Program webinar. Presenting for us this time is Shaniece MacNeill, one of our BSAP finalists from the Southern Alberta Institute of Technology. Hi Shaniece, how are you?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks. So just before we get started, for anyone viewing today's webinar on your computer, if you have any questions during the presentation, just type them into the Q&A box found in your Zoom toolbar, and those questions will be answered after the presentation has finished. Okay, Shaniece, if you'd like to go ahead and share your screen, you can start whenever you're ready.
Okay.
There we go.
Awesome. All right, well, hello everyone. I'd like to start by thanking you so much for having me. I'm so grateful to be presenting today to you as a finalist for the Baxter Student Ambassador Program. So I wanted to just start with a brief overview. So I'm going to start off talking a little bit about myself, get into a bit about tourism in Lisbon today, the history of Lisbon, how one would get around the city, and some of the niche markets to target when selling this destination. So I've included history buffs, free spirits, and foreign foodies. And finally, to conclude, I'll be talking about the services that air transit offers when traveling to Lisbon. So a little bit about myself. I was born in Charlottetown, PEI, and was raised in the small town of Beaumont, Alberta. I've been in Calgary for about 2 years now, and I'm currently completing my second year of my travel and tourism diploma at SAIT, the Southern Alberta Institute for Technology. I was able to have my summer internship at Tourism Calgary, where I was able to really grow my network and make great connections and just really grow my love for the industry. So I'm so happy to be here. So getting into the destination, referred to by Air Transat as Europe's Western Gate and sunniest capital, Lisbon has proved to make waves in the tourism industry with its rich history, dynamic culinary scene, and carefree feel to life. At the 2018 World Travel Awards, one of the globe's oldest capitals was able to take the title of world's leading city destination and world's leading city break destination. It was not only recognized by these awards, but was also number 16 in the running for best city in the world by the Telegraph Travel Awards. Lisbon draws in its visitors with picturesque streets and buildings, its vibrant culture, and its ability to make a euro last much longer than its fellow Western European countries, with daily travel budgets as low as €40 per day. On the screen are headlines from sources such as Travel and Leisure, The Telegraph, Culture Trip, and CNN, naming Lisbon the capital of cool and a must-stop destination on any traveler's bucket list. Unless you hate good vibrations and approximately 2,800 hours of sun per year, Lisbon is your next destination. So dating back to approximately 3,000 years, Lisbon outdates even the most historically thought of cities, including London, Paris, and Rome. The Phoenician people that originally inhabited the seaside city named it Alias Obu, meaning safe harbor. When the Moors set in to invade Europe, Lisbon was one of the first cities conquered. They ruled for over 400 years, leaving an imprint of their culture on the Portuguese Empire. Taken back by the Christians in 1147, Lisbon became the departure location for some of the world's most famous explorers. The Age of the Discoveries in Lisbon hosted explorers including Henry the Navigator, Christopher Columbus, and Vasco da Gama, who aimed to rule the seas and discover the New World. Pictured on the right is a monument to the discoveries recognizing those that paved the way for the future and is led by Henry the Navigator. In 1755, Lisbon was no longer safe harbor. The Phoenician people had named it. An earthquake followed by tsunami and fire nearly destroyed the sunny port city. But Lisbon is resilient and it cannot be defeated. Bury the dead and heal the living, a quote from Marquis of Pombal, the prime minister at the time. They began restructuring, with Chief Manuel de Maya designing the first earthquake-proof grid system that is now seen around the world. A treasured souvenir from before the destruction is Lisbon's oldest neighborhood, Alfama. The postcard-worthy district brings its visitors to the past with cobblestone streets and a relaxed atmosphere. This is the best place to hear fado music, the Portuguese tradition telling tales of sorrow through song. It's one of the most treasured and oldest traditions the Portuguese people have and is a staple to their culture. So now we'll head into how to get around a little bit in the city. So there's many ways to get around in Lisbon. They're all very affordable and they can bring you to each of the most amazing neighborhoods in the city. So the underground metro can transport its riders close enough to any area of the city. They can purchase refillable Viva Vegem cards that are only 0.5 pound, making it a great option for any length of stay in the city at a cost that low. They also have above ground lines to bring visitors and locals to nearby hotspots and other Portuguese cities of interest. The Tagus River can offer different perspectives by taking visitors on a cruise down its historic waters. Many of Lisbon's famous attractions, such as the Monument to the Discoveries and the Belém Tower in the seaside district of Belém, can be seen from this tour. Tours normally range from 2 to 4 hours and cost about 50 to 80 Canadian dollars, and Air Transat also offers a river cruise tour. Tuk-tuks make for a fun touristy way to see the city, and cabs are also very affordable compared to the rest of Western Europe, so they're a good option to take at night. Lisbon also has a hop-on, hop-off bus that's also included as an excursion from Air Transat. Known as the Yellow Bus, it allows travelers to buy a 1 or 2 day pass, letting them hop on and off the bus wherever they choose to explore the city at their own pace. And then finally, we have the ultimate transportation in the city is the iconic trams. It's not only transportation, but an attraction, and the trams flood with people wishing to give their feet a break from exploring the cobblestone hills. The older, more historic Remodelado trams can be found mostly in the old Alfama district that was safe from the earthquake. And the newer Articulado trams connect central Lisbon to Belém with the goal of transporting many people to this touristy neighborhood. All right, and heading into the niche markets, I really wanted to kind of make 3 profiles of tourists that I felt would flock to Lisbon. So I decided to go with history lovers, free spirits, and foodies. The history lover is those looking to learn new things and take in new cultural experiences in any destination. They're okay with waiting in lines. They want to see as much of the city as they can. The free spirits have more of a carefree attitude towards travel, and they're looking for a destination with a go-with-the-flow feel where they can kind of hang out and meet local people and just get a nice feel for the city. And then the foodies are not afraid to spend a little extra to find the most unique and interesting cuisines of the world, and some of those can be found in Portugal. So they're looking for that authentic cuisine, authentic wine in all the cool local spots that can be found throughout the city. So Lisbon can offer each of these travelers the experiences they are looking for within its distinct neighborhoods and booming culinary wine scene, and its status of being the second oldest city in Europe. Oops. Okay, so for the history buff, how could anyone interested in history resist making a trip to Lisbon? From its early beginnings to its domination by the Moors to its incredible resilience bouncing back from the earthquake, Lisbon has a long story to tell. The São Jorge Castle in the bottom right corner is a piece of history left behind by the Moors. Completed in 1449, inside its fortress walls today is a museum of sorts, home to former noble residents. Today, the castle hosts 10 luxury accommodation suites to make a history lover's dream come true by staying within the castle. Situated on the Tagus River, we have the Belém Tower and Germanimos Monastery. So the Belém Tower is the most sought-after attraction in Lisbon. It was built from 1514 to 1520, and the tower was originally built to protect the monastery. As the city continued to grow, so did the purpose of the once protective tower. From beacon to political prison to now tourist attraction, the tower was named a UNESCO site in 1983. Jeronimos Monastery is also a UNESCO site, and both the Belém Tower and the monastery feature the work of Manuelin, a famous Portuguese architect. Portuguese heroes such as Henry the Navigator are buried here, making this monument a critical keepsake of the Portuguese culture. A short day trip or train ride from Lisbon is the municipality of Sintra, where the colorful Penna Palace can be found. Home to King Ferdinand II, with its eerie gargoyles and significant structure, Penna Palace was also named a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1995. And finally, for the history fiend, Vasco da Gama, also buried in Jeronimo's monastery, is the most famous Portuguese sailor as he discovered the sea route from Lisbon to India, which every explorer was trying to find. This caused a big change to the world and is an extremely significant part of Portugal's history. With all its gifts from the past, Lisbon can be a heaven to any traveler wanting to dive into that past, and it even is home to the world's oldest bookshop. So the free spirits looking for a little bit of a more relaxed vacation, wanting to have more interactions with locals and other tourists. So these are the spots I picked for the free spirit. So starting off in the middle, we have the Cavaquelos and Cassius beaches that are just a 30-minute train ride away from Lisbon, and they offer a relaxing retreat just outside of the city. These spots are really popular with young travelers, making it an ideal hotspot for millennials and Gen Z to socialize with other travelers and locals at the many bars and restaurants that can be found just inland, and they can mingle on the beach. Famous for its bars and restaurants and nightlife, the neighborhood Barrio Alto makes a transformation from day to night. According to Culture Trip, the district is dubbed Bohemian. It offers visitors a place where worlds collide. Every type of person is welcome, and judgment is left in one's place of origin. Some of the best meridero or viewpoints of the city can be found in this neighborhood, including the Meridero de Santa Catarina, providing a chill hangout spot and amazing views for the free spirit. The Time Out Market presents all the best of Lisbon under one roof. While it's mainly a food hall, it also serves as a social gathering place. The family-style tables bring people together, giving them the chance to meet and make new friends with travelers and locals alike. It also serves as a concert venue where any free-spirited traveler is likely to be caught. The former red light district has transformed into the pink neighborhood of Rua Navoa de Carvalho. In 2011, the change began, converting brothels into cozy cafes and hot nightclub spots. What tourists used to avoid is now a top hangout spot, especially for the free-spirited traveler. And finally, we have the LX Factory, which was once an industrial area, turned into a trendy shopping complex featuring iconic Lisbon street art. On Sundays, they host one of the biggest street markets in the city, where the free-spirited traveler can find the unique local souvenirs that they have been longing to take home. Lisbon's also home to some of the best hostel culture in Western Europe. For 16 to 20 Canadian dollars, the rooms are cleaned, well-maintained, and often offer activities to get guests interacting and meeting new people. So then we're gonna jump right into culinary, the best part. So the pastel de Belém is a Portuguese custard tart. It dates back to the 17th century when the recipe was originally created by the nuns that lived in Jeronimo's monastery. The pastry shop finds its home in the district of Belém along the Tagus River, and they make some days 25,000 of the tarts. It's said that only 5 men know the recipe, and they can never travel together in any way, plane, car, in case of an accident or the recipe is gone forever. Belcanto is the home of Chef Jose Avilize. He's the first Portuguese chef to earn 2 Michelin stars. And there's only one other restaurant in the city that has 2 Michelin stars as well. He's Mediterranean inspired and favors local and seasonal products. And he's 1 out of the 8 Michelin-starred restaurants in the city. The Time Out Market, is also home to 24 restaurants, 8 food kiosks, and 3 Michelin star chefs. The Old Pharmacy Wine Bar is exactly that. It was an old pharmacy that they transformed into a wine bar, and it features mostly Portuguese produced wines. So they have over 200 wines produced right from Portugal within the walls of this old pharmacy for any wine connoisseur or foodie to have that Porto experience. And finally, we have some of the best seafood in the world. The bacalhau is salted cod that's dried out for days and is the national dish of Portugal. Bacalhau à braai is a strange meal they've made from this salted cod. So it's shredded cod with fried potatoes, scrambled eggs, and olives. But it's a huge delicacy there, so I guess we'll all just have to go and try it. Food tours are often offered throughout the city, and so are a lot of cooking classes, which is a great add-on when traveling in Lisbon. CNN even named Lisbon the best foodie destination of 2016. So travel with Air Transat to Lisbon. They have so many amazing options that each one of these niche markets would be able to use when traveling to Lisbon. So they have direct flights from Toronto and Montreal all year long on select dates, and they're very affordable within the range of 600 to 800 Canadian dollars. There's no visa required to travel to Lisbon, so we should all really get there. They offer multi-city packages, so the Lisbon to Porto and Lisbon and Algarve are 7 nights, and they include 7 breakfasts and airport transfers and airfare and accommodation for all an affordable price. The third, Lisbon, Porto, and Algarve is a 12-night stay, again featuring breakfast every day. The guided city tours leave only from Montreal and Toronto, so any traveler would need to find a flight there first or book it with Air Transat. And they're not available to book online, so you would need to call in and book with a travel agent. The Portugal Your Way is a 14-day tour, 12 nights, 12 meals, leaving from Montreal. And the Porto Tapas and Flamenco is a 17-day tour featuring 24 meals, but it is only provided in French. The 4-week vacations I thought were a really great package. Ranging from $3,000 to $4,000, they include flights, accommodation, round-trip airport transfers, and add-on excursions such as the hop-on, hop-off bus, the Tagus River Cruise, and day trips to Sintra, where there are more UNESCO sites and just more of Portugal to see. They have a number of 3- and 4-star accommodations all throughout the city to fit any traveler's budget or anyone's taste. They also have a lot of amazing planning tools, including helpful videos, Transat blogs, so you can really get a feel for the city and learn a bit more before you go. They have guides for couples, kid-friendly Lisbon, and just for plain fun Lisbon. So it's affordable prices and options to fit or suit any of the travelers in the niche marketing segments. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry if I was a little shaky. And thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Shaniece. So we'll allow a few minutes for people to submit any questions that they may possibly have. And once again, you guys can submit those to either the chat box or the Q&A box. And the first question has popped up here. Stephanie asks, what kind of traveler are you?
I think I'm for sure a free-spirited traveler. I like the hustle and bustle, but I also like to relax on the beach. So I like a little bit of both. And I'm really someone who will just kind of go for anything, like the free-spirited traveler.
Great, thank you.
Hi, Hi, Shaniece, it's Ian Stockard. Have you been to Lisbon yourself?
I have not, but I'm dying to go.
Okay, great. Do you think it primarily attracts history enthusiasts or culture sorts, or?
I think it would attract a lot of history enthusiasts, but I also think it would attract a lot of people like myself who are looking for a fun new city to experience that has a kind of laid back, beachy feel. So
Okay, great. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
I think it's just like, I think it's a mix of both. I think it could bring in a lot of different types of travelers.
Okay, great. Thanks, Shaniece.
And Shaniece, what would you say was the most challenging aspect of preparing for this presentation today?
For me, there was so much information. There was so much to learn about just Lisbon alone, like in a whole country. So it was hard to narrow things down and kind of pick the right things that I wanted to talk about. And also, I'm a kind of nervous person, but I pushed through that, I hope. But yeah, it was just, there was so much about Lisbon, and I really focused more on the city than maybe Air Transat, which might have been a mistake. But yeah, I feel pretty proud of myself. I think I did a good job.
We think so too. Thanks, Shaniece.
Thank you.
Okay, so I do believe that's it for the questions, but I would like to thank everybody that tuned in the webinar today. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day. And Shaniece, thank you again for presenting for us.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's honestly my pleasure.
Oh, absolutely. We're very happy to have you participating in the 2019 Baxter Student Ambassador Program, and we shall be in touch.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Shaniece. Take care, everyone.